Welcome to Bubble Hearthing. I'm ShadowBlue13, and this is going to be the review of the Shaman class cards for the Boomsday project, the latest Hearthstone expansion, dropping on August 7th, very, very soon. Probably going to be tomorrow, depending on when I upload this, but we'll see. So, we're going to begin with Beakered Lightning, and the first time I read this card, I called it Bereaked Lightning, and I was like, what is the Bereaked Lightning? Oh, it's in a beaker. No, I said it wrong. Duh. 0 mana. Deal 1 damage to all minions, overload 2. So at first I thought this card was pretty good. It's like, okay, like Maelstrom Portal, the fact that you're overloading 2 and not getting the minion is kind of taken care of by the fact that it costs 0. Oh wait, it deals damage to your minions as well. Well, that kind of sucks. Someone mentioned in my stream that, well, you could play this, and if you had a healing totem out, that damage would go away at the end of the turn. But that means that you're relying on your opponent having a whole lot of 1 health dudes afterwards. Just having a lot of 1 health dudes to begin with, so you kill them. Otherwise, you're going to probably want to try to trade, and then the healing is useless because your minions are going to die. Because of that, I don't like this card. Even though it costs nothing, and the Overload 2 isn't great, if it was literally just 0 mana, deal 1 damage to all minions, okay, that was decent play. The Overload 2 just pushes it over the edge. Not a fan. Do not like it. Alright, we have the 2 mana Elementary Reaction. Draw a card, copy it if you played an Elemental last turn. So what are we going to do with this card? Well, it's an even card, so you could play it in Even Shaman if you like to. And Even Shaman does run an Elemental or 2. Notably, they run Fire Plume Phoenix, and also I think Flame Elemental, so those are nice. You could always use that to trigger it. Beyond that, it's got the Mimic Pot effect if you played Elemental. Otherwise, it's just 2 mana draw a card. And it will not see play in Shudderwock because it will not take out Prince Keleseth for this card. I was thinking maybe you could, and you could run Tar Creepers just to get more cards, who knows, but no. Actually, Glacial Shard's Elemental, so that would be a trigger for it, but I don't think it's worth it to take out Keleseth. Notably, let me make mention that the only current Shaman decks that are kind of decent are Shudderwock and Even Shaman. Beyond that, there's no real generic just control Shaman because there's no real good. That's not great. The other 2 decks greatly outclass it. Maybe with these new cards now you could see different Shaman, but I'm not so sure. Alright, we have a 2 mana 2/2 Menacing Nimbus. Oh, so menacing, this Nimbus. It's an elemental. Battlecry, add a random elemental to your hand. It's a Battlecry, so you can play it, doesn't have to die or anything, you get the effect right away. It's a 2 mana 2/2. Random elementals can be okay, can be not so okay. I could see this kind of filling in some spots, mainly if you're playing Even Shaman, because you obviously don't want to play this in Shudderwock because you're going to clog your hand and then you might not get your Shudderwock back. If you're playing Even Shaman, it could give you access to odd cost elementals, but beyond that, I don't like it either. There's a few elementals that just don't really do much. They just aren't really worth it. You can potentially continue your elemental chain if you're playing 1 pretty much each turn, or before your key turns at least. But it's a random card. It's a random elemental, not guaranteed to get something that you can play. So, I don't like this card. Oh, jeez. You know what else I don't like? These little sparks. 1 mana. Voltaic Burst. Summon. Voltaic? Oh, yeah, it is Voltaic. Oh, cool. Summon 2 1/1 sparks with Rush. Overload 1. And this is where we once again leave the plane of existence and go into the spark, just to show that the spark is a 1 mana 1/1 Rush elemental card. Okay. Cool. Now we know what they are. They're elementals, basically. Alright, let's go ahead. I'm gonna get rid of that tab now, because it is obsolete. Alright. Do you want to play 1 mana summon 2 1/1 to the Rush and then overload 1? No. If it was just summon 2 1/1s, the fact that they have Rush, like Druid had, was it Twisting Vines or something? Where it was 1 mana, deal 2 damage, or summon 2 1/1s. And that saw some play. This overloads you, and in return for the overload, well, it has Rush, and there's some overload synergy. I don't think Blizzard has been able to really nail any kind of overload synergy, or any kind of real Shaman identity so far. And so, because of that, I don't think this card's any good. I don't like the little dudes. Now, what I do kind of like here is Storm Chaser. A very interesting card here. Did I mention it's here? 4 mana 3/4. Stats terrible. Battlecry, draw a spell from your deck that costs 5 or more. And it is an elemental. If you only want to put 5 mana cost cards in your deck, 5 spell cards, 5 mana spell cards in your deck, then you're very limited. Let me say that. However, you're guaranteed to curve out that way. The notable ones include, what is it here? Bloodlust. This isn't really statted well for Bloodlust to go off, but if it gets you the Bloodlust, and that's what you need to win, then more power to you. And Volcano. That's more so what we're kind of aiming at here. But of course, you could also get your Sapphire Spellstone. That's one that is probably a little bit overlooked. You can get that, and then you can overload, and you can start triggering the evolution of the Spellstone more reliably, instead of just hoping that you get it at a reasonable time for a 7-mana card, and then getting it fully evolved to the greater Spellstone. You can use this to get it in your hand, and then maybe play a few overload cards and get something going that way. I like this card. I don't think it's super fantastic, but I think it's a nice card. You could even potentially see it going in Shudderwock just to get the Volcano, because plenty of times you really need Volcano. But it would only be one of in that, and even then you might not run it. So I like it. I think it could be maybe an aggressive Shaman to pull the Bloodlust. Alright, moving on. 6 mana, Eureka. Summon a copy of a random minion from your hand. So Ancestor's Call was a card that was 4 mana. Summon a random minion from both your hand and your opponent's hand. And that was used sometimes to cheat out big minions for you and maybe Malygos. It was also used sometimes to disrupt your opponent's hand to get key combo pieces out of it and be able to kill them right there and just stop their whole deck. This, although it doesn't summon the minion, it comes a copy, so you still retain some sort of value there. For 6 mana, I don't see this being good at all. I don't think you can combo this well with, notably Malygos, to get a whole bunch of spell damage, even though Shamans do have quite a few spells that like to go face. I don't like this card. I don't think it's going to see any play. I don't think it's good. For 6 mana, in particular. Alright, we have a 2 mana, 2/3 Omega Mine. The Shaman has an Omega card. Battle Cry. If you have 10 mana crystals, your spells have lifesteal this turn. This is a heck of a card. So, kind of similar to the Priest one, actually, in that you heal for 10. This is almost like a little Reno guy. Or girl. Actually, it looks like a girl. It's a little Reno. I'm just going to say little Reno. So, obviously, you're going to... This is like a Halazeal effect. It is the Halazeal effect. But it only costs 2 mana, so you can play more things out there. Let's see. You're probably not going to play the big Lightning Destructo, kill everything in the world, and overload yourself to hell. But you play this in Lightning Storm, you can control the board a little bit, and you gain a whole bunch of health. You can just throw fireballs, not fireballs, but lava bursts at your opponent's face and gain health. You can just play this as a 2 mana 2/3. It's not great, you're not going to want to do that, but in some circumstances, you might want to against an aggressive deck. This is good against aggressive decks if you play it early, it's good if you play it later. It's a good card. Alright, we have the 4 mana 3/5, it's a Thunderhead, and it's an elemental. After you play a card with Overload, summon 2 1/1 Sparks with Rush. Like I was saying, they tried a new mechanic here to try to get Overload to work, Overload's energy. I don't like the Sparks, I don't like being overloaded, I don't like this card. And then I've said, moving on. Ooh, Electra Storm Surge. Oh, this is a beauty right here. 3 mana 3/3 elemental. Battle Cry, your next spell this turn casts twice. So this is definitely going into a Shudderwock deck. I have one. I'm going to put it in there. I'm probably going to take out Mind Control Tech because I'm running 2 of them. I'll just take one out, throw her in there. Oh my goodness. So, let's see what some great cards are. Obviously, I think this is a fantastic card. Some notable things you can put in there with it. Pretty much any Shaman spell. But let's specifically, what can we do here? You can get a really big heal with Healing Rain. You can get a pretty good board clear with Lightning Storm and Volcano, of course. Notably, though, I think because it casts twice, I believe that you will get overloaded twice. So keep that in mind, but still, great thing. I think it also keeps the same targets, so if you Lava Burst face, you get double Lava Burst to the face. Awesome there. You can get your Spellstone to trigger twice, so summon more copies of whatever and get a huge board of just dudes. Admittedly, though, it does have to kind of be there already because the Spell Cone costs 7. The Spellstone costs 7 and Electra costs 3, and that's 10 mana right there, so it's going to be difficult to have whatever survive most likely, but if you do, you could summon a bunch of them. And the last one I want to mention is Farsight. Most notably, only run in Shudderwalk Shaman, but 6 mana. You know, you're spending 2 cards and 6 mana. You're getting a 3/3 on the board. You're drawing 2 more cards, so they replace themselves immediately, and those cards are both reduced by 3. So that's really nice. I think that's a fantastic thing as well. There are plenty of targets for this thing. Beautiful card. Hey doggo, how you doing? Alrighty. And the last one for Shaman is the Stormbringer. Electra, you did so many good things, and then you did this, and this is such a bad card. 7 mana. Transforming minions into random legendary minions. So, as Hearthstone has progressed as a game, as it's gotten older, the average value of legendary minions has gone down. That is not saying that certain cards don't deserve to be legendary. It's just saying that things that target specifically legendary minions have a worse pool to choose from. Have a bad pool. You would run Evolve, but you wouldn't run this thing. For 7 mana, it's absolutely terrible. You can just pull some crap legendaries. A lot of legendaries are known for being bad. Have you ever got the Face Collector? Well, the Face Collector is a bad one to pull with this. And if you played Face Collector, you know that you can get bad legendaries. I don't really think I have to convince anyone that all the legendaries aren't good. And with that, I'm going to say, well, that's it for the Shaman cards. Whew, my. Oh, geez, I just looked at Warlock. You know what, though? Warlock is going to be okay. But before we get ahead of ourselves, thank you very much for watching. Like I said, Warlock is coming up next. Please, if you like Warlock, my favorite class, then go ahead and watch that. Has some really nice cards in that one. Otherwise, good night or good morning, and as always, good luck.